introduce this video really quick. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how I create basically an analog version of a menstrual cycle tracker. I have been using this tracker for now over 10 years. I think I started using it in 2007. And basically you can use this as an Excel version. You can create an Excel version of this, or you can actually just put it in your planner. And what it is it's basically a year view of what your menstrual cycle looks like. And I find it to be incredibly useful when I'm trying to understand at a glance, how many days do I tend to have my cycle? And when I'm trying, it's also very, very good for trying to predict when my next cycle will start, or even trying to plan maybe a month or two out. I wouldn't go much further than that, but it does help with that too. So stick around and I hope this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, so I'm going to do a walkthrough of how I create my menstrual cycle tracker. I'm going to be using this extra large moleskin notebook, and I'm just only going to be using this one page on this side. And as I mentioned in my intro, this is also a tracker that can be put into an Excel sheet very easily. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to count over about 11 squares just to kind of center my title box. And then I'm going to leave some space down here, but I'm going to go over to the edge. I'm going to go in a little bit here. I'm just going to put a dot, and I'm going to have about two spaces. And basically what's going to happen is I'm going to have the months along the side and the numbers of the days of the month across. So I'm going to need to count over to 31. So this is where my month goes. So I'm going to get that lined up, and then I'm going to count over 31. All right, so then this will be the edge. Just gonna draw a little line there, and then because there's 12 months in a year, I'm going to count down 12s. All right, and then this bar here, this line here, so the months are gonna go in here. So I think what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go ahead and line everything with a calligraphy pen that's a no bleed. All right, so I'm gonna label the months here. I'm just using 3-letter abbreviations for that. And then the days of the month are gonna go across the top. So I'm gonna start with a 1. So because this is for 2021 specifically, I have already figured out how the months fall. So looking at January has 31 days. So what I do is obviously I'm going to leave it there, but February only has 29 days in 2021. Or no, it has 28 days. So then what I do is I will shade out to make sure that it lines up with the calendar. So March has 31 days. April has 30 days. May has 31 days. June has 30 days. July has 31. August has 31. September has 30. October has 31. November has 30. And December has 31. So that's how I indicate that. The next thing that I'm going to do is I like to put in when the new and full moons are falling in a month, just because I'm very curious about how does my menstrual cycle kind of line up with any aspect of the moon cycle. So I'm going to go ahead and place them. I'm going to use N for new moon and then F for full. And all I do is go online and just pull the like a lunar calendar and start plotting them. All right, so once I have those done, this is how I basically use this tool. So when my period actually starts, I will shade in either with colored pencil or marker the dates that so let's just say it started on the 16th. And just let me be really clear, because I have the grid already. I'm not doing another grid of lines here, but you can absolutely do that to make the squares pop. But let's say I started on the 16th and it lasts for 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then what I do is, and what I find to be super useful, they say that your cycle starts on the first day that you bleed. So what I will do is I will track and count and just kind of see how many days between each one. So let's say my cycle typically runs like, I want to say like it's 25 days. So let me count that out. Okay, so let's say it was 25. So the way I track it is I will add the number of days between each bleed. So every time my period starts, I'll go into this tracker, I'll color in the bleed, and then I'll do it forever, whatever the number of days, and then I will count in between, starting with this day is 1, and then putting the number here. And I'll show an example of like what it actually looks like for 2020. You'll notice that the days are sometimes 23 days, 24 days, 25 days, but I end up kind of having this very kind of average number of days. But then the other thing is that's really useful about this is I'm able to predict when it's going to happen. So as I'm looking at, the year at a glance and I'm seeing, 23 days, 24 days, 25 days, 25 days, I can start counting out and really getting a pretty good guess within a month or two, I would say, of when I might be on my period. And that's very useful for travel plans and, knowing if I need to be prepared for that. So I believe this concludes this tracker. I hope you find it useful. I just think it's a really good tool. I've been using it now for over 10 years, and it's told me a lot about myself and my own body and how things go. The other thing, just really quick, that I also do track sometimes is if I'm having some symptoms that are related to, say, PMS or ovulation, I'm able to document those in with a different color. So sometimes I'll use purple, and I'll just say, okay, this is when I was having some severe cyst pain, for example. So that's just another way that I use this. I hope this has been helpful to you. If you have any questions, please let me know.